CPM Math 3, problem 1-47. This problem is asking you to seek the most efficient method of solving. A lot of times students want to just jump to the quadratic formula, and in the case of at least two of these, it is definitely faster to try either the zero product property to use the square root method or completing the square. So this little fellow right here, automatically when I see this -8 and 7, it makes me wonder if it's factorable. So let's test it. We know we're going to have x and x. I need two numbers multiplying to -8 but adding to +7. And that will, of course, be +8 and -1. So 8 times -1 is -8. And 8 plus -1 is +7. And that has to equal 0. So we know our solution is x equals -8 and x equals +1. Using that zero product property, zero product property is the fastest. Okay? For problem B, this is actually set up quite nicely because there is no technical B term. And we have this x plus 2 squared. So we can undo that squared right off the bat by taking the square root of this. And that allows us to take the square root of the other side as well. So this guy cancels with this guy, and we're left with x plus 2 equals, square root of 49 is either the positive or negative version, plus or minus 7. So then we can actually make it into two equations. So x plus 2 equals 7, or x plus 2 equals -7. Subtract 2 from both sides and you get x equals 5, or subtracting 2 over here and you get x equals -9. Two solutions. So simply using that square root method was quite simple here. For problem C, we run into a problem where we have an a value of 5 and a b value of -1 and a c value of -7. This is not factorable. It's going to be all wacky. Completing the square is difficult because this is a larger number, not 1, and the a value is -1. It's not an even number. So obviously the quadratic formula here would be the best. It is your responsibility to memorize the quadratic formula and accurately substitute x equals -b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And it is also your responsibility to simplify accurately and use proper order of operations. So the biggest mistake that students make is when they see this minus and this minus, they're not quite sure how to handle that. So you can take -4 times 5 times -7, and we get +140. And when you simplify fully, that we get x equals 1 plus or minus the square root of 141, which is not a perfect square, all over 10. And we're at this point, we're going to use the exact answer. And we're just going to go ahead and leave it like that. If you wanted to simplify square root of 141 and get an approximation decimal form, that would be fine, but this is acceptable. All right, problem number D, you are going to do on your own.